Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we will be talking about all the books that I read in the month of November. I read in total 10 books. I feel like November was very busy for me and I didn't manage to read as much as I would have liked, but I think the books that I read this month was honestly top tier and was really good. So let's go ahead and start with our first book. The first book I read is Ashes of You by Catherine Cowles. I read, I think three Catherine Cowles books. And also in the month of November, I finished 4 series. Honestly, quite an accomplishment because I do not usually finish series. If any, I start them. So it was quite an accomplishment. But Ashes of You is the last book in the Lost and Found series by Catherine Cowles. Like I said, I loved this book. The thing is, our main character, the male main character, was teased from the beginning because all or most of Catherine Cowles' books has some kind of like a mystery aspect to it. So there is always like a presence of like police or like authorities of some sort. And our main male character is the sheriff or the chief of police, let's just say it like that. And yeah, I really love the romance between our two main characters. I always think like all Catherine Cowles books are very precious and very heartwarming and very heartbreaking, but I feel like in the end it got resolved really well, and I really like that. And same goes with the second book I read this month, which is also by Catherine Cowles, and I'm starting a new series. I think it's called Sparrow Falls series. So I read Fragile Sanctuary by her. I loved this book. I think this might be one of my favorite series yet by her. I started with Tattered and Torn, and then I continued to Lost and Found, and now I'm in Sparrow Falls. And I think I loved the main characters in this. It is also Grumpy Sunshine, which is one of my favorite tropes when it comes to like, I think it is a micro trope, right? I don't know, is it a micro trope? I'm not sure. But I loved it. I adored it. So I enjoyed that. And okay, I didn't give you the rating for Ashes of You, but I think for me, Ashes of You might be 4.5 stars. It's really good. Not that I think about the characters a lot, but I do, if I get reminded of them, I do think of them. Does that make sense? I feel like I do not really think about books that often anymore because I feel like I just keep consuming new books and it got replaced by other books, so to say. I don't know how to explain it. But that's Ashes of You. And for Fragile Sanctuary, I also gave it 4.5 stars. Honestly, so good. Although I said Fragile Sanctuary might be the best one, but the thing with Ashes of You is just like the slow burn aspect that I have to read 5 books all the way to that, or like 4 books and then that was really like enjoyable experience, I guess. But with Sparrow Falls, I think I like the foundation of it because Catherine Cowles always like follows the series as in there are 5 siblings in this family and we're following all 5 siblings. And with Sparrow Falls, we are following 6 or 5 siblings, if I'm not wrong. I think 6. I'm not sure how many, guys. But we're following a set of siblings and they're all like patchwork family. We're following their stories and I feel like it's so interesting because they all have their own set of problems, their own set of like difficulties and so on and so forth. And I feel like that makes the character deeper in a way. And I always love like the last book of the series because all the characters, like we get to spend time with them and flesh it out. And then now in the last book is like the last shebang, so to say. So I really enjoyed that. That's why I gave it 4.5 stars. But moving on to the third book that I read. Okay, so I recounted. I finished 11 books. Do not mind me. But the book that I almost forgot is I finished The Return of the King by Tolkien. I rated it 4 stars. I know it's a blasphemy for rating it like not low necessarily because 4 is pretty high, but I feel like there are some things that I am still quite unsure how to feel about because I don't really love the ending, which I know it's a good ending. It's like the best ending for our main characters. Do you think I can speak spoiler filled? I don't know. But I feel like the ending is justified, but that doesn't mean that I like the ending. I feel like the ending was like taking an easy way out Although I feel like I would love to spend more times with the character that went to the Grey Havens, so to say. I don't know, guys. I loved the bits where we get to spend with Frodo and Sam, so that we're following like two timelines, right? The first half of the book we're following the Fellowship, and the other half we're following Sam and Frodo. And I do love Sam. I think Sam is such a great character, and I love, 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 love his character. And I think without Sam, it won't be a trilogy, it would probably continue. I think it's like, okay, the ending is good for Sam. I don't know if it's good for Frodo. I think it's good for Frodo too. Is it good for Sam? I don't know. I'm still conflicted about this. I also, like I said before I went on another tangent, I really do not care about the Fellowship's point of view. Let's just say it like this. So like the first half of the book, I really don't need to read it, I think. Like, although it adds to the plot, to the storyline, to the everything, because we're seeing everything in like bird's eye view, right? Like, it's all super rounded off because we're seeing the Fellowship, and then we go back to like pretty much we're following the same timeline, but it's like the first half is the Fellowship, right? But I feel like it could be a little bit parallel in a way, because I was quite a bit bored in the middle of it, because I was like, okay, when is Sam and Frodo coming? Because I don't know, I just don't love the point of view of the Fellowship. I don't know. I'm pretty conflicted with this. Was it an epic book? The plot was good. Yes, I do love it, but I don't think it's one of my favorites. Let's just say it like that. So yeah. The next book I read is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, which is the 6th book in the Harry Potter series. What do I say to this book? I did not like the ending. But now, though, after finishing the series, I understand why it had to be like that. But after finishing this book, I was so mad. And I was like, I don't understand the thoughts of like some characters. I was like, why are you guys doing this? And these are the consequences. But if you've been doing that the whole time, this would not have happened. I don't know how to explain it more vaguely. Or like more. Let's just say it like that. But I feel like in this book, let's just say I love and hate this one character. Okay, I can just say it. I love and hate Dumbledore in this book, okay? After finishing this book, I could not understand with some of the things that he did. But after obviously reading The Deathly Hallows, which you will see the explanation very soon, what I feel about that book, it's understandable what happened in The Half-Blood Prince, right? But it's just, oh my gosh, I was so angry at the ending of this. And obviously the ending of The Deathly Hallows explained everything that needs to be explained. So it was fine in the end, right? But after finishing this, you don't even know the rage that I felt. But this book, I think I rated 4.5. I feel like with Harry Potter books, they're good, but I would not rate them like 5 stars or 6 stars. I feel like, I don't know why. In itself, I think the series is like a 6-star series for me, but none of the books are 6 stars or 5 stars in a way. I feel like I love the whole tone of the series and all the... But we can talk about that whenever I talk about Deathly Hallows. So let's just move on. And the next book I read is the book club book of the month, which is The Name of the Wind. How do I even start with this? Okay, this book, we are following Quoth, our main character. But pretty much how it started, I was like, oh no, it's gonna be a cozy fantasy. But oh, I was wrong. This book was so action-packed, but I feel like what annoys me so much about this book is that the second book is out, but not the third one. And this book I read 4.5 because the stories that we learn from Quoth is very epic and very like, it's pretty much this book has a really great character, really great writing style, very lyrical writing style, right? But also at the same time, it has like an amazing plot. But where am I going with this? I don't remember what I want to say. Okay, I don't know where I'm going with that, but I'm just gonna jump to another thought that I have with this book. I feel like I don't love so much about this, the now and then plot line. So we're following Quoth. He's an innkeeper. And there's this chronicler, and the chronicler was like, oh my gosh, you're the Quoth. Will you please tell me your story? And obviously he told him in the end, but I feel like because I know he's an innkeeper, I know that everything will be fine either way. Although with the things that are happening, it is very crazy, the things that he went through. And I know there is so much more that still needs to be explained why he becomes like the quote, the great quote, whatever it is his nickname was. But I feel like knowing that the now timeline that he was fine, so nothing was really high stakes and stressing me out because he turns out fine either way. But obviously, throughout the book, things also got explained with some of the problems that are happening in the now timeline. That's why I'm like a bit nervous in picking up the second book because what's going to happen to Quoth, right? And the fact that what if I loved that book and rated it 6 stars, but there is no third book yet out? And it has been like almost over a decade where the second book is out. So the Doors of, no, the Wise Man's Fear. Wait, or is it the Doors? Oh, the Wise Man's Fear. So yeah, I don't know if I want to postpone reading the second one until the third one is out. Although I went and read this like long Reddit like thread about like the chance of the third book coming out is very slim. So we shall see. I feel like the ending of this book leaves enough question that you want to read the second book, but also I feel like it's semi-rounded off enough that if I were to leave it here, I would not be like completely satisfied with the story, but I would be okay. I think I could live with it. So yeah, but I know if the second book ends with a crazy cliffhanger, I would probably be so angry in choosing reading that. So yeah, I just went on a tangent about basically nothing about this book, so that's the name of the win. So the next book I read is Skyshade by Alex Astor. I have been dreading and picking up this book for so long because this book in general is just so, or like this series in general, is very dragged out. The love triangle is very cringe and you kind of know where you're leaning towards. And I feel like most people are leaning towards Grimm. So it's between Grimm, Oro, and Isla, right? I feel like most people are leaning towards Grimm, but Isla sometimes, pretty much most of the time, leaning towards Grimm. And then there's this like one chapter in the middle of like all 3 books where you're not sure anymore because just this one chapter changed her like whole perspective on the love triangle, so to say, because she was like, okay, you know, I'm gonna pick Grimm. And then Oro did one thing in this one chapter, something small, and she's like, oh, actually, I cannot choose. I love them both. I'm like, girl, be so real. And the thing is, in this book, she was giving me such a pick me girl vibe, and I hated it. But the thing is, the plot of the story was kind of interesting. That's the only thing that kept me going throughout this book. Some of the banters, guys, was so cringy. I just had to stop, put down the book and walk, okay? Because it's just too much. This is the verdict for this book, okay? I rated it 3-star. So it was decent. Will I pick Crown Tide when it comes out? Maybe. I hate myself for saying that, but I think I will be picking up Crown Tide eventually. Not anytime soon. I will not buy the physical copy because I think what I would do is probably donate all 3 books that I have of this series. Will I be reading the novella, the Grimm and Oro novella that you can flip? Like it's like, I don't know what it's called though, but like half of the book is like this and half of the book is like upside down. I will not be reading that because I think that would it's just rage bait at this point because I really hate the love triangle. So if I hate the love triangle, I'm not going to be reading 500 pages long of novella just between like the 3 of them. You know what I mean? So I will not be doing that. I will be picking up Crown Tide purely just for the plot. So if the plot is good on Crown Tide, let me know. But if it's not, I'm never touching the series ever again. And I don't know if I want to touch any books by Alex Astor again because it's infuriating me that I actually this series is just too dragged out. I could change my mind. I could read more books by Alex Astor, but as of for now, I don't want to read anything by her. So I know that was a bit harsh and that was a bit mean, but I think a lot of people do feel the same way. I feel like the plot was interesting, but all 3 books could be combined into one and just less banter and less cringiness and less love triangle between the three, because we know you cannot make up your mind and we don't need it explained in depth. Let's just say it like that. So yeah, that is that. Moving on to the next book I read is one of my favorite reads, fall read. It is If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. Oh my gosh, do I love this book. It is Grumpy Sunshine, it is a single parent, and then it is small town. It's so good, and Gilmore Girls vibes, and it's also set in fall, and it's so perfectly fall. It's so perfectly small town. It's literally the story sets in like the middle of, what is the town called in Gilmore Girls? Star Hollow? I think Star Hollow. But also, even look at the cover. You can see the pagoda over here. It's so perfect. I love this book. And if you guys, I know it is not quite fall anymore, but if you guys are looking for fall book to just like reminisce on the season, like fall season, I guess, pick this one up because it's actually amazing. I rated it, I think 4.5 or 4.75. I'm not sure. I'm still debating on that. I think it's really good, but there are some things. Are there some things? I don't know if there are some things I would change. It's just I feel like it's not, I don't know how to explain. Sometimes 5 stars are just feelings for me. I do not have rhyme or reason why I chose certain ratings, but I feel like 4.5 or 4.75 feels right for this book. So yeah. Moving on to the next book I read, which is Mistress of Flies. I feel like I talked about this book a lot in a certain video. I'm not sure what video though. I will link it down below. But I rated this book 2.5, and I said if I could DNF a book, if I have the skill to DNF a book, this will probably be a strong contender of a book that I would DNF, because there are just one particular scene in this book that is definitely just not for me. Also, I feel like in general, the magic system is a bit weak, and I feel like for me, I like a more defined magic system, and this is pretty vague. Let's just say it like that. And I feel like it was mentioned like, oh, he's one of the best blood worker, he's one of the best this and that. But we're not shown that, and we don't know what best in this area could mean, because we've never seen any of their abilities ever, like in the book. Like there could be an explanation in the second book, but I feel like if I were to read a 400-page book, I would want to know like the magic system, like the world. I know like the world building was explained pretty well, but the magic system was not explained at all, and it was just like briefly mentioned, or like the character was just like hinting at it, but it's just hinting and there is no more explanation to it. So yeah, anyway, I told you that I wouldn't rant about this book, but I just did. So yeah, that's Mistress of Flies. And if you guys love this, please let me know down below what I'm missing out on, like, because either I missed it, like an explanation, or I don't know, maybe I missed something. I'm not sure, guys. So yeah. Moving on to an audiobook that I listened to. It is Bound by Ali Hazelwood. Oh my gosh, guys. I feel like all the books that Ali Hazelwood comes out with, I will probably love. I rated 2 of her like full-length novel this year a 5-star. That was crazy. I read the other 2 novellas, which is Hot for Slayer and First. First was like, I love the chemistry between the characters. I don't know if I like the end scene. That brought it down a little bit for me. Hot for Slayer was so good. It's about vampire and a vampire hunter. And then with Bound, we are following I feel like I'm not going to talk too much about it because it's such a short audiobook as well. But we're following our 2 main characters. One of them is like, wait, can I say it? But I feel like it's pretty deep. But pretty much it's a fantasy novella, and I love the chemistry between the 2 characters. I love like how she's so good at what she's doing, and yeah, I feel like in general, the premise of the story is really interesting. I love the chemistry. I love the writing style. Although the narrator of this book, I feel like I've heard her voice somewhere. I think it was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I keep imagining our female main characters as Addie for some reason. I think it's Addie. I could be wrong with the narrator. I feel like it sounds like Addie from V.E. Schwab, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. So yeah, that one though, I think the best novella I read this year, which is I rated it 4.5. For a novella to be rated 4.5 is quite high because it's such a short book. So it's obviously not going to compare to, I don't know, most full-length novel. Obviously there are always exceptions, but Bound was so good. So if you guys are looking for a short read, not read, I think it's just an audiobook. So if you guys are looking for a short audiobook, pick that one up, please. It was so good. And moving on to the next book I read is the last book in the Harry Potter series, which is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Like I said, I think the whole series in general is a 6-star read, but like I always have some things that I feel like was a bit dragged out, or it was like, I don't know, just didn't sit right with me. That's why like none of the books I really gave a 5-star or a 6-star, but I do love the beginning and the ending, most of the Harry Potter books. But I feel like in the middle, it's always such a grind, such a hard work, because we know like in this middle bit, it's just pretty much Harry suffering. So I don't know. I feel like it was rough on Harry. I love the ending. I don't know if it's the best ending. I feel like it's a good ending. Is it the best ending for our characters? I'm not sure. And also, so many characters in this series died in this book. I was so frustrated. I was like, okay, usually the first 50 pages, 100 pages would be pretty like repetitive when it comes to Harry Potter, because we're following like 7 years of his life, and the first 6 years obviously he started Hogwarts, and it's always like in the pivot drive where like with his aunt and uncle and cousin, and then he goes to Hogwarts, so on and so forth, right? But with this book, it started off like that, and then like a few 20-30 pages in, things started happening, and I was like, okay. But I feel like there's a long stretch in the middle where it's just pure grind for our main characters like Harry, Ron, and Hermione. I feel like there it got dragged out a little bit. It's not that it's bad. I feel like it's necessary to show how difficult it was, and I understand. But I feel like for me personally, it was a bit dragged out. But in itself, I think it's such a good book. It's so well written, and I love the ending. So yeah, I rated this 4.75, so it's almost a 5-star, but I feel like I said, the middle bit where it was like Ron, Hermione, and Harry, where they did things, it was a bit too long, and it's not unnecessary, it's necessary, but it's still feels like it's filler scenes, because it doesn't really contribute necessarily to the end battle, although it does. But I don't know how to explain it, guys. But I feel like it is just a bit dragged out, that bit. That's why I'm not giving it a 5-star. Like I said, also 5 stars for me are just like pure feeling. And if I love it, I'm going to give it a 5-star immediately. And that's why like when I read a book and I'm like 50, 60 pages in, and I like, oh, I feel a 5-star feeling from this. Usually it's a 5-star. Although like some of the things in the book, obviously I want to change. Nothing like, not that I want to change, but I feel like it could be done better to cater to my personal taste, for example. Obviously, I'm not an author or anything like that, so I cannot. But like I said, 5-star for me is just like pure feeling, and 6 stars just like feeling, plot, and the whole book was just like absolutely perfection. So yeah, that is The Deathly Hallows by J.K. Rowling. And the last book I read is Delicate Escape by Catherine Cowles. This is the 3rd book I read by her this month in November. I did not like this one as much. I feel like I just did not connect to the characters as much. I loved it. I enjoyed it. It's always like such a good palate cleanser, even if it's not meant as a palate cleanser for me, it's still such a good book. But I feel like there are just some things that I'm not connected with, or some things that could be done better. And I don't know. I feel like this one is a bit rushed, and it's not well fleshed out. Although is the same length as other ones. So I don't know. And I rated Delicate Escape 3.25. It's like most of her books are like 4 stars or 4.5 stars for me. So the fact that this is 3.25, I think this might be one of the lowest ones. It's not bad at all, by no means. But it is actually, it's like really, really good. But I feel like compared to her other books, because I read so many by her already, I know that it could be even better. So yeah. And what I want to do now though is the book that I'm currently in the middle of. Those are the books that I read this month. Not this month, the month of November. I really hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you guys have some opinions when it comes to this, let me know down below, because I do want to know whether you like it or whether you don't like it as much as I do, especially though with Mistress of Lies and Harry Potter and pretty much with everything that I read, because I want to know what you think about The Lord of the Rings. I want to know if you like the ending, or Harry Potter, whether you like the ending, whether you agree with me that you don't have any 5 stars for each of the books, but you think in the whole grand scheme of thing it is a 5 stars book series. Or what else about Mistress of Lies, whether you feel the same way as I do, or if it makes you happy. Guys, all the books that I talked about today, please let me know down below if you do like it or if you do not like it, if I'm like completely missing the point. So let me know. But I think that's it for the video. I yapped so much. I saw right now I have 42 minutes, and hopefully when I edit it down it's not 42 minutes for you guys. But yeah, it was a good reading month, but I feel like I'm getting a little bit of a reading slump. So for December, I'm going to take it slow. Just read whatever I want to read, mood read. So yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And obviously this holiday season as well. And I will catch you in my next one. Goodbye.